Hi, I'm Richie Mackay.
And I'm Davey Bolt, and you are listening to the Wrong Bias podcast.
On show 44, we review the Scottish International Open. We look back on our final live streaming road trip to Glasgow. We discuss a little bowls retailing news. And we doff our cap to the dashing Sam Tolchard. As always, thanks to XX20, Lean to Succeed and Bowls is Bowls for their continued support of the podcast. Right, here we are again, mate. Show 44. And the wedding anniversary gift is an electronic device. You understand why we're laughing in the Christmas bloopers. Maybe it's a little electronic clock or something like iPad for the man, and the woman, maybe it's a dishwasher.
Yeah, that's a dishwasher. Hair straighteners.
It's better than what we said, but anyway, you'll have to tune into that one. Anyway, mate, on our last podcast, we mentioned about unsporting behaviour, and have you seen that they've introduced a new rule? World Bowls.
Oh, I heard about this.
Apparently, if
not stopping the ball or something, is that the one?
That's the one, mate. You know how you said there's no rule to stop you from hoofing the ball as it's coming into the head? Well, now you're not allowed to stop the opponent's ball.
So they've obviously listened to the podcast and thought there's a hole in our constitution, eh? This is the power we've got, no, mate. It's the power we've got. We're dominating world balls now.
It's either that or we didn't realise that they'd made the decision. But apparently, if you stop the opponent's ball, you forfeit the game.
Forfeit the game?
Yeah, all right. Yeah, you forfeit the game. But if it's, I don't know whether it's you stop the opponent's ball going into the ditch. Whether I don't think that counts, but I think if you stop the opponent's ball going into the head, you forfeit the game. That there is a punishment now.
That's fair enough. I mean, this is the point we made, wasn't it? Because we said, what's to stop you if there was a ball coming close in a crucial part of the game and going up and hoofing it out of the way? There's nothing in there to say that. What would the outcome be? So I understand that. I'd sort of heard that it was obviously if balls is passing by the head and they were about to roll off the edge of the ditch, you've got to actually let them roll into the ditch now.
Yeah, you do.
The only thing I would say is what happens if the ball's coming up and looking like it's going to hit somebody's leg or something like that, or what's the crack there, I suppose. But
you just hit the leg and they play short.
Right, yeah. I've already thought of 2 or 3 people who's going to enforce this rule straight away.
You'll have to clarify, mate. You'll have to have. There's actually on the World Bowls, the new, I think it's the 14th edition or something. There's a chart on the back that displacement of balls, and I've read it and I couldn't understand it.
Have they made a little precursor to that to basically say that you're allowed to ask your opponents if you're allowed to stop it and remove it from the head, so no complaint?
No,
I can understand the ball going into the head bit, but
you've got to leave them alone. Stand clear. Not that it'll ever happen. Not that I've ever seen it happen. What we said. Congrats on your England trial, mate. Back in the fold to have a crack at it.
Had a bit to think about it, and I'll give it a try.
Why not? Certainly, why not? And as Mr. Hartley said, he's just carrying your bag again.
There's a team there that's won 7 off the bounce. I was part of 3 of them, I think, something like that. But 3 or 4, I don't know. It'd be nice to see Paul get his opportunity, or Johnny's in there as well, isn't he, from up here?
Yeah, there's a few in from the north, mate. They're all, best of British, mate. See what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there.
Right, mate. Scottish International Open took place after our last podcast, and you went in, you played Stuart Anderson. I'm going to say it. You can always say you lost to the winner.
Great, isn't it?
Great. Great. Does that make you feel better?
Yeah. I mean, everybody says, well, it must make you feel great when you've lost the winner. It's class,
Fantastic. I mean, I watched the game, and the first set was the scoreline was harsh. I thought some bits and bobs just didn't go your way. Second set, you bounced back, and tie breaks, and you had a couple of opportunities.
That's exactly how I summed up the game. First set was really harsh. I felt I started off really well. I think I lay a really good 3 first end, and I think the big difference in the game was Stewie took his chances and I didn't. I did have 2 chances in the tiebreaker. I had one draw on the first end, and then just had to make contact with the ball, I think, with the second. But the only thing, but I wish I'd been able to get up there a little bit earlier and just test the pace of the green out and the rink out beforehand, because I think I would have probably changed my balls. And I was just about to, I was just about to change them. And the only reason, stupidly, I didn't was because my balls were the same colour as Stu's, and I went, well, this is going to look rubbish on the stream. And this, see, if we didn't do this, I wouldn't have given a CRA. I just thought, it's not going to be very good for you. I'll stick with it. But it was fine. I'm certainly not making that excuse for the game. Can have a battle against Joe. He's absolutely top notch. But away from there, generally happy with the performance, and it sort of was a bit of a precursor for Potters.
Because you meet him down there, don't you?
Well, we'll meet again. I mean, I would say he's probably going to be tougher again down there, but hopefully we'll see how it goes.
It's all on the date. I mean, you were saying that you would have liked a little bit more time to get used to it, but Gary Smith from up here, I mean, he got a very late call up, mind you, because the USA guy didn't come over, and I know Gary didn't travel up till Tuesday, and he played the Tuesday night, and he wasn't sure. I was talking to Gary, and he wasn't sure what balls to use, and he was talking to Paul Foster, and Paul Foster said, "Oh, you don't want to be using them, mind you, on there," because he got the end rink, and of course Gary didn't have an option because he didn't have another set of balls with him, I don't think.
Well, my preparation was really good because I was down in Lincoln for the Grand Prix on the day, so I'd got 5 really good solid games in down there, which I thought was going to give us really good competitive practice going up, and it did. I was in good touch.
Of course, 6 seeds went out first round. Pick of the wins, Australia's Jack East, win over Mark Dawes. Canada's Gary Pickering's win over Alex Marshall. But unfortunately, all 6 of them went out in the next round.
Talked to Stu about this after the game. It's like all the seeds is no disrespect to anybody in the past, but there was always games there where it was like, this is the one I want. But I think a lot of the qualifiers now are really, really top-notch qualifiers. 4 easy games down there now. It's really good. I think it'll be another cracking World Championship this year. Great ties. I'm in a lovely quarter. Don't know if you've seen it. It's not bad enough playing Stu in the first round. It's like hitting a car on the motorway and then getting through the car and then getting through 2 big lorries at the same time. It's like really easy. It's good. It's
overall, mate, the event well supported by the club members, by the looks of it. Phenomenal. Well supported, yeah.
Really, really well supported.
The VIP tables down the side seems as if they were all taken up.
Chocolate block all day. Really, really good. I know there's been some feedback, a few little bits and pieces, but again, it's a brand new event again, so it's been reignited, it's been reinvented again, and it's done in a different way. So just like the UK Open last year, there's always things that some people are not happy about or they think is really good. I know Jason takes that on board, and he'll be looking to probably tweak here and there, but
it wouldn't be an event if it didn't get a little bit critique.
Critique, I think, is you've got to take it as a positive thing. It's we can all turn around and say, it's just people whinging, but you can either look at it and say, well, no, what you're actually saying is wrong because it wouldn't work because they don't understand what's going on behind the scenes. But some of that critique could be something where you go, you know what it is, I heard something during the day, and it was something to do with the scoreboards. And it was actually one of the players that approached the desk and just said, can we do something with those scoreboards? And because the other spectators want to see what's happening with the games, but they're not getting a very good view of it from where it was. And straight away they says, that'll be sorted. So it's good. It's good to have things like that.
Yeah, I always think if you don't get critique, you don't know whether you're doing it right or whether people's just going along with it for the sake of it.
I always think there's very, very good critique, and then there's people who just critique for the sake of winning because they just don't grasp out everything that's happening in the background and what's going on and what actually needs to take place for these things to happen. If it's something specific about the event which is going to benefit the event, that's great critique. If it's somebody just whinging and moaning because the money's rubbish or it's too expensive or there's too big a gaps in between games. Think about the people who's running it. You know what I mean? It's not as easy as just turning up and just getting games rolling and rolling and rolling, game after game after game. So
yeah, and I think what a lot of people are not realising is that the streaming went out, but up to about possibly 2 or 3 days before the event, the streaming was going to be in doubt because the Wi-Fi was crap. And Jason was on a right old panic, pulled out all the stops. He ended up getting Wi-Fi boosters. In fact, it got that bad. He got boosters to boost the boosters, and it wasn't the speed that the company wanted, Optical Media, but it was enough to get the Airstream out. And I think there was a couple of occasions where it did freeze a little bit suffering, buffering, but it was very rare. But so that in the background that people don't take on board or they don't know about.
They don't grasp it, and it's that getting to that point. People have got to understand. It's like there's been massive progress. People are starting to be able to watch these events. They've twisted and mourned for ages. Why are these events not shown? Why are we not getting to see this, that, and the other? Yes, it would have been nice if it was on BBC Scotland, but BBC Scotland, what people also need to understand is pulled out and dropped the competition right on its backside because
very late on and all, wasn't it?
It was because they turned around and said that would have far too much coverage in the Commonwealth Games. Now, for me, it's like the coverage of the Commonwealth Games should have spurred more coverage because I thought for me it was one of the standout events. So I know they've obviously got things behind the scenes that they've got to do and criteria that they've got to meet. But again, it's just making the point that before you sit there and have a good twist and mourn and just put something across in a way of maybe just turning around and saying, look, I know probably reasons for it, but can you just explain why this didn't happen or why that didn't happen? But some people go on there, man, you think it was the end of the world. It's like having a right old pop, and it's like, for God's sake, man, people are running about left, right and centre to try and provide a service.
So overall, mate, pat on the back of the PBA and the WBT for getting the event all done and dusted, mate, and hopefully it'll come back next year if they can get the money. That's the big caveat, isn't it, mate? It's because these things don't spring up without any sponsorship.
They don't, but hopefully, I know the cost of living crisis is going to play a big part in things, but I think the steps that have been taken over the last couple of years and the great work that's been done makes the whole thing a more attractive proposition. It's starting to become potentially a proper circuit where you might have 3, 4, 5 different competitions on now and massive viewing figures. That's got to be an attractive proposition to a lot of businesses out there. So fingers crossed.
Right, mate. Our last piece of streaming, I made the trip up to Glasgow to cover the ladies' match play competition, 35 players, only 3 from England. The lovely Jackie Anderson, Gillian Inslee and Sam Richardson Martlepool, who I thought played really well. And she was unlucky not to get past the first round. Standard of play was spot on. Kerry-Ann Davis, a worthy winner. The first time I've been to Glasgow Club, do you know when you walk into somewhere and you get that smell of wood, like an old school hall, and you walk in and you go, it's a bit history about it. Well, that's what I got when I walked into the Glasgow place. I go, there's a bit of history here, mind you. Oh, that's fusty. But no, I mean, they had a boardroom. They had this massive table in the boardroom. Wouldn't get oak table. I'm looking at them going, 16 black placemats around the table. I'm going, oh, proper old club here. A wall full of presidents' photos on the wall. I'm going, doff me cap here. Gordon Wood, top man, absolutely top man. I think he's the manager up there. He's the bouncer on the door. He does everything. Absolutely great.
He's spot on.
Made us welcome. The club's 10 minutes from Hampden. The football, I mean, on a weekend, they generally get 200 to 300 people in the club. They take a boatload behind the bar. Do really well. But no, it was good. The immortal words that killed us, mind you. And when I walked in, Gordon says, I've got a party due to start at 7:00. But if we're quick with the final, we'll be all right. We should be all right. I've told the DJ to keep it down a bit. Bye, giddy aunt. So I knew what was coming.
Yeah.
So we got to the final. Party started. Music on loud. Tried to build a soundproof wall around us. Then I heard Lady Gaga. That says, aye. Lady Gaga did us. Off we went. And we ended up being in silent movie mode for the rest of the night. But it was a good day. I was busy doing a bit of commentary with Chatty, and we were busy commentating. All of a sudden, we heard across the green, "Salad! Salad!" We're going, where's that? Look, no, it's Gillian. So anyway, we'll let her go. A few minutes later, we hear, "Salad! Salad!" So me and Chatty gets up. 1984, Ashford and Simpson classic, solid as a rock, Mexican wave. I'm getting old because Gillian didn't even know Pan's People or Evo Stick.
I heard that.
Who doesn't know Pan's People? Quick mention to Anne Dunwoody, coming and doing a stint on the commentary with us. It's the first time that anybody, it was the quarterfinals. It's the first time that anybody's commentated on 3 separate games apart from the one that was streaming. It was great. And she never swore once. She did well not to swear.
I saw her up at West Lothian for the Scottish. She's another one. There's bucket loads for the sport. It was good to hear her on there.
It was good, mate. Enjoyed it. It was a good week. It was a good couple of days. With thanks to the PBF for letting us stream the few events that we did. I know there was 27 qualifying events in total, which again is caps off to everybody that entered and what have you. Hopefully our streaming's helped to promote qualifiers and maybe tempt a few people to enter next season. So all good, mate. Right, mate, something that caught my eye, bit of a media release a while ago. Aero Bowls and Bowls Australia have parted their ways. The statement from Aero Bowls was a little bit, there's a little bit of a sting in the tail a bit. They were always the preferred manufacturer with Bowls Australia. But in their media statement, they came out and said, we have become concerned about the reduction in the number of bowling clubs and the number of regular bowlers in Australia over this time. This has given us cause to rethink how best to support and grow the game and how best to use our sponsorship funding. Since we believe the current initiatives of all those involved in the game are not working in the way intended, we will support clubs and regular bowlers directly. They have done a lot. They've been a great partnership. They've introduced 70 colours, 4 grips, 12 sizes, 10 models. Bit of a surprise for you, mate, or not? I know you are a little bit linked with Aero.
I am fully linked with Aero. Obviously, I'm contracted with them, so I'm still a current player with them. Absolutely no idea what the setup is in Australia. I've got no idea. Don't have any clue about what the goings on is over there. Henselite obviously recently just being taken over by a couple of the new guys over there, if I remember rightly, from what I saw. Alex has obviously gone back over there. So obviously Henselite are potentially trying to make a statement and do some big things over there. So don't know if it was a lease, whether it was a term, whether it's up for tender or whatever it is. But
every time we talk about balls, Australian balls, it's always all a good factor. We never get anything like this out of Australia where things sort of like go the ways. It's always follow the yellow brick road. You know what I mean?
I mean, again, you don't listen to everything but it's not all sunshine and bubbles over there. I'm part of media groups in Australia and few twists and moans about things that happen in the structure of the game and the elite side and pennants and things like that. So it's the same in every country. Yeah. You kind of please everybody all of the time, but not like it's a big difference to any other country where you go over to Australia and everybody's got halos on and loves everything that goes on in Australia. So there'll be politics the same as everywhere else. But at the end of the day, it's Bowls Australia's choice as to who they want to partner up with. If it's a tender process and Henselite have come in with a better tender process and Aero have wanted something different, then obviously it's their choice to make. Yeah. So it's I suppose in some respects, sometimes, it's nice to see different changes. Maybe there's a different outlook from Henselite to Aero or whatever that might be, and only time will tell whether that benefits whoever within the sport over in Australia, I suppose. And then on the flip side, let's see what Aero do to support those individuals and clubs, like they've said, and it'll be interesting to see what media promotion comes from the Aero side of things over the course of the next couple of years.
Bringing it back to the UK, I just read this week that Anglia Bowls, after 37 years, closing down business. It must be tough for the bowls retailers at the minute, mate. You'll have good experience of it, being in the retail business previously, so...
Yeah, it was tough how many years ago when I was doing it. So I don't know how big Anglia Bowls are. I've really had a massive deal of experience of how big they are down in that area. But obviously from the manufacturing side of things, there's massive delays that I think there's been a bit of a knock-on effect from potentially the Suez Canal situation that stopped a lot of production and things happening, and then COVID kicked in, and that obviously... So I know there's a lot of bowls companies at the minute, they're quoting like 18, 20 weeks for sets of bowls to come through. Second-hand market's absolutely through the roof at the minute. So, I mean, people are coming on saying you're paying huge amounts. I say that tongue-in-cheek because still... huge amounts is not a huge amount in the scheme of things. Yeah. Without going into that again, but it's obviously from where it has been, it's second-hand bowls are probably just short of the level of what some of the newer bowls were 2 or 3 years ago. So everybody's questioning why, but it's purely and simply, it's like, can I get all of the new bowls? So let's take advantage, and it's the same in all walks of life, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's an opportunity now. The opportunity there, people going to
take advantage, didn't you?
That's right. Yeah. Exactly.
But no, it's a shame. Frankly, it's always a shame to see businesses go out of business. But the cost of postage and things like that. And the biggest thing that hit me was you had to spend like X amount of money to get free postage. Otherwise, the postage costs were quite high, which then ate into what was the small margins between what you were selling the stuff for anyway. And it's like, and you get your customers coming in, all right, mates, rates and all that. You count on your
mates, rates, mate, tap your shirt off me back. Why don't you? Yeah. Hey, tuck the sandwich out my hand, tuck the pasta out my hand. Comes to cheesecake, you got no chance.
Yeah, I had not a chance.
Take your hand off.
That's what I should have done, actually. I should have opened a cheesecake shop instead of a gold shop, but then I would have probably lost 50% of my profits and made 16.
Sitting there waiting. I'll have with salted caramel.
But yeah, it's sad.
Right, mate. We always say when you come on the podcast, and I'm going to repeat this later on, that you always win something. Champion of Champions, the World Champions, outdoors, New Zealand, Mr. Tolchard. 9 wins, 1 loss in the round robin. Finished top of his group. A semi-final win over Gary McClory. And then a win over Malaysia's. Easy one for you. Is it Shamia Duzale Pele?
I don't know, is it? You like that one? I don't know, is it? Are you telling us or are you asking us?
I don't know. I'm telling you.
There's another one to be cut out, otherwise we'll be doing for
Great stuff from Sam.
I tell you what, I think he said in his interview after, I would probably say I haven't had the experience, but from what I've heard, it's really, really hard work out there. Really hard work to play
3 weeks, man.
In the wind out there. I know I'm talking to Louis and Sam previously when they were out there in the World Championships. They were like, the wind is just ridiculous. You can be like outside the rink sometimes to try and accommodate for it. So some of the ends, again, we mentioned this about Australia in the past as well, where some of the ends look scrappy, but it's not caused by the bowler, it's caused by just a little breeze at times.
You can't tell, can you, when you're watching the stream? You sort of say, well, it's crap end, this, isn't it? Even though the standard horizontal in the wind.
I think Sam said as well. He said he watched the women's, and it was on the same rink. And then when they were playing, they were like another 2.5 foot wider than what the women were. So it had obviously changed quite a bit. But I did want to try and stay up and watch it live, but I'm too lazy and I was asleep. But when I woke up, and he played 2 big uns, didn't he? To flick that ball.
I seen the runner at the. I mean, I've seen the highlights and what I. But he's the way he ditched it. I wouldn't really say it was a 3/4 mate. I think it was a short 3/4. There was no near, and he just ditched it.
I mean, it was a catch-22 for the Malaysian, wasn't it? Because there was too much space to give Sam the draw. Then Jack in the Ditch won the game. Yeah. So do you forfeit the fact of let him try and draw it and it goes to an extra end, or do I get to the tee and stop him from giving that chance? And I suppose in the big scheme of things, you'd probably think I'd rather have another ball in there and make him try and beat it than is he going to hit a bare white. Great for Sam. I think it's true the BBC put it was his first world title.
Yeah. Whether it makes up for the Commonwealth Games, I don't know. It's got to end his outdoor season. I mean, they did play indoors as well because the green was underwater. But there was 2 things that came to me, mate. If anybody can watch the highlights, when any time anybody fired in that final, the marker was like 100 metres sprinter out the blocks up the wicket. He ran. I'm going, where's he off to? He's away up the green. He's away up the green. Then he turns around. Whoa! I'm going, what's he doing? What's he doing? And the other one.
He's not going to be trying to stop the ball down the ditch, is he? It's against the law now.
We'll get forfeit, right? Get ragged now. And the other one, I read the World Bowls report, and there was a line in the report that really brought a smile to my face. The Malaysian lad won the second set, and this is the line that it was. The gritty Malaysian was all over him like a cheap suit.
Okay.
Where did that come from?
I must admit, I did drop Sammy a message earlier in the week as well, because one of the reports had the Dashan Tolchard. Like,
the Dashan.
What's going on there? The Dashan Tolchard.
Has he wrote it himself? I think it's the first time I've seen him see a bit of motion for him when he grabbed the jack on that tiebreaker, mate. If you watched him on the top of the screen.
Definitely.
He was kicked just as well. The marker wasn't there. He nearly kicked him. He would have kicked him in. Kicked him up height.
Over the moon for the lad. Yeah. It's absolutely
great stuff.
Absolute loads of time.
Right, mate, there we go. Short and sweet, show 44. Our next show will be our Boxing Day special. Might be early December when this goes out, so we'll wish you all a happy Christmas. Get it in early. Thanks for all your support over the last 12 months and for the streaming.
A little bit of a World Championships preview again, aren't we, for the...
We are. We've got a mystery guest and a superhero coming on. So that's me and you. I don't know where the other two are. I've got a pound in my pocket says that they're going to look like the Mitchell brothers again. Anyway, folks, that's it. Short and sweet, this one. We'll see you on Boxing Day. Thanks very much.
Take care, all. Happy Christmas.
Thank you for listening and hope you've enjoyed the show.
This has been a Dodgy production.